welcome to another episode of Fenton Unscripted. I'm here today with a very special guest from our residential team, Paige. Would you like to kind of tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, definitely. So my name is Paige. I am a resident manager here at Aquaterra Apartment Homes here in Mission Valley. I've worked with HD Fenton now just a little over 2 years. I started at one of our sister properties here in Mission Valley at Club River Run, and I've been here at Aquaterra since about February of this year.
Yeah, amazing. And so you're a resident manager. Can you tell us a little bit about what that means here at Fenton for those who might not know?
So basically, as a resident manager, we oversee lots of things. So this would be, rent collection, processing move-outs, utility collections, things like that. We also help with resident retention, so helping the leasing team put together resident events, processing renewals, trying to make sure that our residents are happy and staying with us. That's really the goal. Another thing that we do is really just help oversee the team along with our community director, who is the main leader here, but we really do help the team with leasing, making sure that we are hitting our goals, hitting our numbers, doing team meetings, and a lot of things like that.
Awesome. And so it sounds like you get to do a little bit of the resident management, obviously with the name of that, but you also still get to do a bit of leasing. And that's a little bit unique, I would think, for in property management. You usually have like the leasing managers and, the assistant manager and then the community manager. But can you tell us a little bit about kind of the unique role of the resident manager at Fenton and what you kind of see throughout the rest of the industry that makes your role very specific to Fenton?
So I would say definitely now when it comes to, searching for an apartment, most places are going to be primarily online or disconnected. There's not often times where you have real people on site with real teams where you could walk in 7 days a week and actually get that real life support. So whether it's a resident who has an issue that they might have with their home, or they want to discuss, their upcoming rent or renewal options or anything like that, it's just really nice that we are here to provide that support to our residents.
So from an employee experience side of things, what is something that is really unique about working here at Fenton?
I don't really know exactly what it would be like for other companies and how, these roles would play. But I do know that Fenton is pretty special. I know that they're very intentional with how they're hiring and promoting within. Whereas if you have somebody who onboards as a leasing manager, but maybe they are showing signs of interest of commercial or, our ELT, there's definitely things that can be looked at for those promotions to happen. I don't think that I sat into the role immediately being like, oh, I'm a leasing manager and now I want to be a resident manager. It really is just something that my skill set and partnering with my leader really ultimately led me to this. Fenton also just, has a lot of great benefits. They really treat their employees really well. There is a really unique culture that comes with Fenton as well. There is a lot of, team building activities. All of the properties have their own designated team building as well as little workshops, just things to kind of get us engaged and out of the office, which is really nice to kind of have that break of just, not being behind the computer and get a chance to get away.
And so you said earlier that you started at another property and in the leasing marketing manager role, which we've done an episode with an LM here. Can you tell us a little bit about your growth story, your specific experience, and how you got into your role now and kind of where you started for those who might be interested in the growth opportunities within our residential teams?
I've been extremely lucky with my growth and success here at HD Fenton. Before I got hired at Club River Run as a leasing marketing manager, I worked in mortgage for about 10 years, and before that I actually used to do hair. So kind of just jumping around as far as career path goes. But when I started as a leasing marketing manager, didn't have any experience in residential property management at all. But I did have a lot of relatable tasks like operations and just really having customer service experience and being able to pass along that skill set of being able to make connections every single day and just interact with people.
And so when you started here, were you always interested and on that track of like, I want to become a resident manager? And what did that kind of look like for you? What were the steps that you knew you had to take or that you implemented in your leasing role to get to that promotional opportunity of becoming resident manager?
Yeah. So I think I knew right off the jump that I wasn't always wanting to be a leasing manager, only because sales has never really been like my huge strong point. That's not something I've always sought after. But an operations background and really being able to be like behind the scenes of like the numbers, Excel spreadsheets, things like that is what I kind of geek out on. So really just kind of understanding and asking questions about that role when I was still a leasing manager, and like asking ways that I could help my resident manager at the time and like what I could learn really helped kind of build that path of success to be able to, then land this role.
So with that, what would you say is a good skill set or interest level that someone should have to be successful in that role as a resident manager?
I think having a good attention to detail is really important, and also being okay and with the understanding that there's a lot of multitasking. Every single day is very different. You're always juggling a lot of different tasks, and you never really know what the day is going to bring. So being good at adapting to change, adapting to the different day-to-day that, life and this job will bring for you.
Yes, definitely. I started in residential as well when I first started here. And so I definitely understand that aspect. And every property is a little different too.
Yeah.
So it's really cool that you have the experience that you weren't always here at Aquaterra. You started in other properties and got to see kind of the different type of customers or, just a different type of property that you're dealing with. And having that adaptability is super important. So I love that you touched on that. So kind of segueing into what you love most about your job, what would you say is something that really excites you about this role that for someone watching, you would like them to know this is kind of what makes this special?
Yeah. I think that if you are going into a role where like the same exact thing every single day, and that's something that's off-putting to you, then this would be a great role. Because while there are still key things that have to get done every single month, that you're like following kind of like a calendar to an extent of like things and goals that you have to hit every single month, there's also just so much, randomness that could happen in between, like the unknown, and being able to interact with people all day, interact with the team, help keep everybody motivated, as well as work alongside with like our maintenance staff and our maintenance manager, and have just like interaction with our residents and our potential residents, people who come into the door and are looking for a home, being able to kind of just, greet people and like have that human connection to just make it feel, inviting.
Well, thank you so much, Paige, for joining us today and giving us a little insight and having us here at the beautiful Aquaterra leasing office. Really enjoyed our conversation, and thank you for watching another episode of Fenton Unscripted.
And thank you.